My philosophy is that we're problem solvers. That it's our job when a human being presents us with a problem to use all the tools that we're equipped with, whether it's the law, legislative solutions, media solutions, any available resource to try to solve the problem. And so that's why I think it's so important to be creative in the practice of law, because it doesn't take much to do legal research. It doesn't take much to go find the statutes and the cases. But what it takes a lot of is the ability to synthesize the information that's contained in the cases, the directions you get from the law, from the statutes, and apply it to the problem that you're faced with right now. And how can you use all of that creatively to try and help the family? Because we do family law, we end up dealing with a lot of family dysfunction and issues that in other parts of the world are considered domestic violence. Unfortunately, the United States is quite far behind on the concepts of domestic violence for most of the other Western nations. So coercive control is a dynamic that occurs in many marriages, particularly where one spouse has sacrificed in order to rear children, the ability to manage and control their own money and access to resources. And as the stress and strains of marriages progress with the birth of children and all of that, very often you'll find that the in the money spouse, stereotypically the husband, is in control of the resources and fails to share passwords to bank accounts, can control the credit limit on a credit card. The credit limit one day might be $3,000 and the next day it might be $250. So you have a spouse with children who never knows from day to day whether they're going to be able to put gas in the car or buy groceries. That kind of coercive control is extremely debilitating and difficult to prove. I wrote a paper on it that I would love to link to this, called Scrooge and the Spendthrift. And it's about the kind of financial control that can become abusive. It's advice I give to my young lawyers as well, which is, it's not my fault. I didn't tell you to marry him. I didn't tell you to have babies with him. At the end of the day, I'm going to do the very best I can to get you out of this situation, but it's not my life. It's not, these were not choices I made, which is different than some other kinds of cases where, as an officer of the court, you tend to feel somewhat responsible for instance, in employment law. The law itself is so unfavorable to an employee who's seeking redress for sexual harassment, which is the topic of the day. The law is very difficult there. And as an officer of the court, you end up feeling kind of responsible. The nice thing about family law is that you really are trying to help somebody sort out their problems of choices they made that you had no involvement in.